Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another phenomenal episode of the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. I am your host, that ocean crossing, straight up bossing, flight catching, shot glass snatching, always positive, life is great, repping 592, living in the 718, no cap, straight facts, the worldwide starboy, Remy Blue. And our special guest tonight is actually a man who is doing great things. He has shared the ring, gone toe to toe with guys like Surza. That's right, our alumni guest Surza, who we had from last season. He's gone toe to toe with that guy. Experienced veterans like Dean Alexander. Got a win over Dean Alexander. Has tag teamed with one of the most intense competitors, hard hitting competitors in Juicy Finau, and he also graduated with the Nightmare Factory Camp 4. That's right. We throwing that up there like we Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen. Everybody, welcome to the show. The man they call Yellow Boots, Cliff Hendrix. Cliff, how you doing tonight, sir?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for the intro. I appreciate it. I'm doing great, doing great. It's Monday. I'm here. The Niners are winning, unfortunately, so I got that going for me. But other
Awesome.
than that, the night's going pretty well, man. Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Hey, thanks for giving us the opportunity, man. I mean, because I don't know if you've noticed, but we've interviewed a lot of your fellow, not just classmates, but campmates, but
hmm
schoolmates from
Yes.
previous classes, and even some from this one.
hmm
And you know, to me, every class has that one person that's very over with the crowd and has the crowd chanting. And when I saw they were mentioning Yellow Boots and people were chanting Yellow Boots, I'm like, man, can we get this guy on our show? I don't know if he might be a super. We might have to call his people, and we might have to have we might have to have our people or talk to his people because we don't have people. But we might have to talk to his manager, and that might be a hard that we might have to jump through hoops and whatnot, hoops of fire just to get to this guy. So we really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I'm not a hard man to find, man. My DMs are always wide open, man. But no, I appreciate that. I don't think of myself too highly. I try to stay humble, keep my mind, low to the ground. I don't like to, get all up in the weeds and in the clouds and stuff like that. I stay pretty calm and collected. But thank you.
Yeah. When I saw you were going up against Dean Alexander, I was like, they were chanting yellow boots. And I'm like, man, this guy is really over, man. I mean, regardless, even if they weren't chanting, I would have had you on there anyways, because our motto is, we don't care if it's 1,000 matches or one match. The fact that you go into
Mhm.
that and put on a show for us, risk your body, risk your mental health, that's enough for us to want to talk to you on this show. But I was like, that man is over, man. Like, wow, we gotta talk to this guy, man. And I actually enjoyed that show. There were several things that stood out. And if you like so far for every camp, there's always a moment I remember. You know,
Mhm.
you guys' moments was one of your match was one of, and I mean this in the most respectful way. It had some funny parts in it because Alexander, and poor Dean, oh geez, that guy he
Yeah.
catch a break. He comes out with Angelica Risk,
Yes. Yes.
and then he's doing the little dance thing. I'm like, okay, my boy Dean got
hmm
tonight might be the night. He got the dance thing going on. He gonna get that W. And then he drops her. I'm like, oh come on, Dean, not Angelica, man, and she's really good on the mic too. But little did we know, man, like what goes around comes around. She came back out there with Brooke Havoc of all people. Whew, man, they hit him with that 619, and then you got that sweet swanton bomb.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, man. So, hey, so now we got two. There's two people I know that do the swanton. There's yourself.
hmm
You're on the West Coast, and then there's one of your other schoolmates. I don't know if you've met him or met him yet. Maybe you will. Maybe you guys will team up. But a young man by the name of Josh Breezy over in from Camp One.
I have not met Breezy, but I've heard a lot about him. Mainly from my roommate. I ended up living up with a couple of some past class or Nightmare Factory students. Brooke Havoc. I lived with her. Hayden Backlund, Trip Jordy. Rude Dragon. I ended up rooming up with them because I got Brooke and Rude Dragon are actually from out here on the West Coast, and when they got the opportunity to go out there, I was like, all right, I need to throw my hat in that ring. And they still had a place out there. So I was fortunate enough to room with them for my 3 months out there. And yeah, I heard a lot of names come through that house. Breezy was one of them. I haven't got a chance to meet him yet, but I know that man through a lot of words that passed through that house.
Yeah, man. He was we had the pleasure of having him on here. Really cool guy, very talented guy. The man
Mm-hmm.
is he's actually a triple threat because he wrestles, he raps, and the man makes desserts. It's a good thing that guy it's a, I don't mean to put his business out there in the street, but it's a good thing he's taken because if I that's right, he'd probably take my girl just that. She'd be like, you wrestle, you rap, and you cook. Bye bye, Remy. I'll be like, I'll be like, man, I'll be like Bozo the Clown.
Yeah, it's a good
Sister,
thing he snatched up. Good say save some for the rest of us, buddy.
yeah. But yeah. So I just gotta ask you, man. How did you become a fan of professional wrestling? What was the match that you saw or the pay per view that you saw that made you tune in every week afterwards?
Uh, I can never pinpoint like an exact moment when it like clicked for me that yeah, I like wrestling. However, I can always uh tune back to when it was 2004, right around WrestleMania 20 season. It was building up, and this is like I've never really watched wrestling prior. Like my mom would turn it on and it'd be, I'd see a couple a match here or there, but I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. And then when WrestleMania 20 season was coming around back in 2004, I just was tuning in to a Raw or SmackDown, and then it'd be the next week, and then the next week, and then the next week, the week in and week out. And then next thing I know, I started learning all these guys' names: Booker T, Randy Orton, John Cena, Batista. Evolution was a thing back then. They were coming up like, and the next thing I know, it was every week for me. Buying figures, buying games. My first wrestling game, I remember I opened up my GameCube for Christmas. I think it was 2004, 2003. It might have been 2004. Opened up my Christmas presents and I got a whole bunch of games. I remember one of them was WrestleMania 18. That was the first wrestling game I ever owned. And then, yeah, like I said, from there, the fandom just grew from there. And little did I know, years later, years down the road, I would be in the squared circle myself. Never, it wasn't like a childhood dream for me to ever become a wrestler, though. Uh and, and and I never really kept it in the back of my mind either. There was a while I kind of joked with my friends, like because I was going through college and I wasn't really taking it too seriously coming out of high school. But I always joke with my friends, like, yeah, man, I'm gonna screw this college thing. I'm gonna go become a pro wrestler. And I was like halfway joking when I said that. And I went to my first indie show just across the bridge here in Pacheco. And yeah, I had a blast. I had a blast, man. I remember the owner gets on the mic and is like, if you'd like to become a pro wrestler, come talk to us after the show. Da 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 da. The whole spiel. I went down. I talked to the dude after the show. He gave me the whole rundown. The very next week, I paid my $500, signed the waivers, signed the papers, and ever since, 5 years later, here I am.
That's awesome, man. And you're actually living in a pretty good area, NorCal. That's another thing I want to experience a pro wrestling event in NorCal. I live in New York right now.
Mm-hmm.
Several um I've gone to several events over here in New York, Brooklyn, Manhattan, New York City, Queens, and all that. I've gotten to see wrestling in Florida
Mm-hmm.
and also in Texas, and which is another great scene. And I've gotten to see it in SoCal, Southgate to be specific. But NorCal, I really hope I get to experience it there real soon, in the very near future. Y'all got a lot, and the thing about y'all, and I'm not just saying it's because you're on my show because you're in front of me,
Mm-hmm.
but the wrestlers in California, y'all stand out. Y'all are like larger than life. I mean, I've seen some. You got the Stoner Brothers.
Oh,
You
yeah, I
got
love the Stoner Brothers. Those are my guys.
you got guys like Kid Bandit.
Kid
Now
Bandit.
Ishmael Vaughn.
Hmm.
They're part of a stable called the Highlight with
Yeah.
Ole Electra, who is another one. She reminds me so much of Alexa Bliss for some reason. And then, you guys had a guy called Pooh Jack, a
Cool
mixture of
Jack.
Winnie the Pooh and New Jack. And then you had another guy named Serial Man. And I'm like,
Yeah, yeah, Serial Man. Yep. Hmm. Oh man.
that's one thing I would like to do. This may sound, I'd like to have an interview with Serial Man and just eat cereal. If he eats cereal, I don't know if he eats cereal, but
I would hope so. It's a shitty gimmick if you don't like cereal, brother.
yeah, but I definitely would like to have a sit down with that guy. But y'all have a great scene out there, and I hope I get to actually check it out very soon. Hit up
Yeah.
Sacramento or something.
Yeah, man, NorCal, man, we've been grinding the past couple years. The past like COVID kind of halted a lot of our progress, unfortunately, but we were really working towards something big out here. And now that I feel like on the other side of COVID, a lot of us have really hit the ground running since then. Like you had mentioned, Ish is my guy. I love that dude. Kid Bandit, love that MFer. Stoner Brothers. I was just down there training with them not too long ago. My trainer Anton Voorhees is the tag team partner of Dark Sheik. You know, they call themselves the Caution. Like I love those guys. Yeah, and Titus Alexander getting some big matches with Christopher Daniels recently and starting hop up on GCW. Same with Starboy Charlie, my guy Juicy. I've had a couple run-ins with him in the ring. Never one-on-one, unfortunately, but we've had our dust-ups in the ring every now and again. And that's my guy, man. He's helped me out so much in the industry. D Rogue is another guy. Of course, you talked about Surza earlier, my biggest rival. Now I call my brother. Now we're tag partners and we're doing our thing together in the Revolution. But yeah, man, NorCal, we're starting to carve out something a little something for ourselves, man. Like it didn't used to be this way, but it's a lot of drama, a lot of infighting when I was coming up in the industry. But I think now a lot of that has started to work itself out. We've all, especially the workers, a lot of the workers here, we all sort of recognize what we had, and now we're all starting to come together as one unit, as one family, and it's like, hey guys, like what we have here is special, and let's hold each other close and build each other up, man. Let's not tear each other down, and that's kind of what it's all about right now with us out here in NorCal, man. It's all love. You ever walk into a locker room before or during or after a show, man, and it's all love from everybody, man. We're all talking. uh Whoever people are smoking, people are drinking, we're having a good time, man. It's like stereotypical Cali vibes backstage, man. Everyone's real chill, real mellow, but when it's time to go out there, when them lights come on and you walk through that curtain, it's go time, and we all know what we need to do, man, and that's go out there and entertain the crowd and give them a good show.
Yeah, uh, that's definitely how it should be, man. Everybody just chilling and just striving to put on a good show and whatnot. Just coming together and working together. And yeah, y'all definitely got it going on in Cali. I've been fortunate to interview a couple of people like Surza. We had Midas Creed on our show, Mighty
uh,
Myra.
I love Midas. Myra's, she's, oh yeah, I love that girl too, man. She's her own success story, man. I known her since she started training, and where she's at now to where when she started, man, like leaps and bounds. Like it's like night and day. Like I love her.
Like Midas is another one too. I was like, this guy. I think he was like, I don't mean Midas. I don't mean to put your business out there, bro. But Midas was like, the man was. He told me he was like he wasn't even 20, and this guy is watching Japanese wrestling from like the
Yeah.
90s when he wasn't even
Yep.
born. I'm like, what? You gonna go far, man? Like that is. I tip my hat off to him. Like he was studying tape from back then.
Yeah, man.
That,
Midas is one of them dudes. He's one of them dudes, man. He's a student of the game. I have so much respect for that guy because he's the guy that when we go on road trips together, uh when we go on trips together, man, while we're all out partying, we're all out drinking and doing our thing, living it up in the nightlife after the show, he's the one staying in the hotel room reading a book all night. That's him. That's Midas right there.
Yeah.
And we all love him for it, man. Like he's got his head in a book, or he's watching some match from God knows when. And yeah, man, I've had one match with him so far, which is pretty unfortunate. I'd like to get in the ring with him now.
And then you also had Jack Cartwheel, who's another guy we've had on here too.
Oh, I love Jack. I love Jack.
Yeah. So you've also not only have you actually wrestled for Nightmare Factory, but you've also wrestled for one of the longest running wrestling schools slash promote and possibly wrestling promotions in Sacramento, SPW.
Mm.
Yeah, that's another
Mhm.
impressive too, and they're still going strong after all these years.
Yeah, I love the SPW crew, man. Those guys treat me so well. Even though I haven't had the opportunity to come back as much as I like recently, though I am planning on changing that once the year starts. But those guys, I see them. Those guys get around like a lot, around the area in SoCal and the West in general. Those guys get around, and I love the crew up there. Drake Frost, Sir Samurai, Fitzpatrick. Like I love what they got going on up there. They got a good crop of students that are very well trained. Got to give props to their trainers. They're very well trained, very respectful. Yeah, everything they got going on at SPW, like I'm super happy, and I'm really glad that recently they've come out the past few months running shows again and getting like big names and getting a lot of their students and a lot of their guys like bigger matches. And that they don't know it yet, but man, their students are going to be way well off, because of that. They're going to be super thankful down the road that they got these big matches.
That's they're definitely gonna be successful. But yeah, man, I also hope to actually check out one of their shows real soon. In Sacramento. Hopefully, hopefully I can.
Yeah, Sacramento is a cool little area up there, man. Like I don't spend too much time up there unless I like absolutely need to. But yeah, Sacramento, they've got something cooking up there. They've got something cooking up there. Like the whole NorCal, like I said earlier, the whole like NorCal, there's something brewing up here, and it's about time the rest of the country finally started taking notice.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Yeah. So, you trained at the Nightmare Factory, you're part of their Camp 4.
Yes.
How did that happen for you? How'd you end up getting there and training with um, the rest of the gang with um, Katie Hebner and the Frankie Filto and the Southeast SWAT team, and how did you end up getting into how'd you end up getting with Nightmare Factory?
Yeah. So, like I had mentioned earlier, Brooke Havoc and Rude Dragon were students in previous camps. Brooke being in Camp 1, and then Rude Dragon, I think, being in Camp 2, I believe. And when I was actually supposed to be in Camp 3, however, I didn't have enough money saved at that time. So when Brooke hit me up one day on my lunch break, she's like, Cliff, I need your number like right now. QT's wife is gonna text you right now about the Nightmare Factory, da 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 da. And I gave her my number and everything, and I got the text from QT's wife saying, "Hey, we're gonna start Camp 3 up. You want to join?" I said, "Yeah. However, I don't have money at the moment, so can I forego this camp and get into the next one? The next one being Camp 4." I'm like, "Yeah, no problem. That's all good." So I saved up my money for my down payment, saved up enough money to get myself out there, put all my stuff in my car, drive out from California to Atlanta. For about that took like what 2.5 days. God, oh man, I hate road trips, but I mean, for this stuff, you gotta suffer sometimes for your art, and I was definitely suffering on that drive. But yeah, man, once I got there, I remember walking in the first day, and I remember I pulled up to the building, and I don't know if you guys know this about the Nightmare Factory. It's like a part of like a training facility, like a sports training facility. So it's not just like 4 wrestling rings in a warehouse. Um, but there's like a front gym, and then in the back they've got like turf because they a lot of high schoolers and middle schoolers and elementary school kids, they train, baseball, tennis, football. I train all sorts of athletes there at that facility. And I walk in and I'm looking around. I'm like, I don't see any wrestling rings here. But then the girl at the front desk is like, Nightmare Factory. So I was like, yeah. And she's like, through those doors. I walk in through those doors. There's 4 rings there. I see QT Marshall standing there, and I see a whole bunch of kids, sitting in some chairs. I pull up, I sit down, and Glacier's there also. They when I pull up a chair, they give us the whole spiel about what the camp is, what the expectations are, uh, and yeah, and then like you said, the rest is history. Man, super super grateful for that opportunity though. Like, because I did apply when they first announced the camp, like before Camp 1 even started, but I didn't get in, unfortunately. But yeah, luckily Brooke did, and she stuck around for a little while, and Cody fell in love with her, and the whole gang at the Nightmare Factory fell in love with her. So she kind of put in a good word for me while I was out there. So much love to Brooke Havoc for, I guess you could say, facilitating facilitating me getting out there. But hey, however you got to make it happen, player. Like shit, I'm not complaining.
Yeah, hey, perseverance, like The Rock said, perseverance gets you there. No, being perseverant gets you there. Being consistent keeps you there. And I mean, yeah, you tried before night. Yeah, you tried to get into Camp 1, didn't work, didn't happen for you, but you got into Camp 4, and
Mm-hmm.
you got it with a little help from Brooke Havoc, and yeah, now you can say you're actually a Nightmare Factory alumni. You got the class picture on the wall over there, so years later, people will be in there and be like, "Yo, is that Cliff Hendrix? Yo, I just saw him on AEW, man. Yeah, he just got signed. He's actually gonna go up against Daniel Garcia,
Yeah.
for the TNT title, you
Yes,
know.
sir. That's the dream, man. That's
Or
the
or
dream.
or you and Surza get signed, like, yo, he's in a team with Surza. Yeah, they had an impressive outing on Ring of Honor, man. Yeah, they're going up for the tag team titles, so you made it happen, man. And
Yeah, I made it happen.
Brooke actually is another one that she had like one of the most badass entrance, I always say, in the Nightmare Factory student showcase history. I don't know if you ever
Yes.
saw it, but it was when she and Kat Spencer came out in that car,
Mm-hmm.
in that black car,
Yep.
came to the ring, and I was like, "Yo, that's badass." And then MJ Baby thought it would be cool to, who was one of their opponents, thought it would be cool to spill orange soda purposely on the hood of the car, and she got the ass win of her life. I was like, wow, like damn, she should have just left it alone, man. Whew.
Yeah, I love Brooke. Like she's another one that I've known, not like since her beginning of training, but like before she got accepted to the camp. She was training out here over at our school here in Cali in the Bay Area for a little bit, and then she eventually made the move over there. But she's good people, man. Like I'm super happy to see her recovering from her injury, and I can't wait for her to come back and take the world by storm, because the world ain't ready for her, man. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, man. Y'all ain't ready for what Brooks got in store for y'all, man.
Yeah, she's a very talented woman, and it's going to be something when she hits the scene. Like we were very fortunate to have her on here too as well. We were like, we thought it wouldn't happen, but we were able to get her on here, and very talented woman, and I definitely know she's going to go far. Whenever she comes back. So you guys did 3 intense months of training.
Hmm.
Easy, but you made it happen. And then finally, you know, you got the nod from Coach QT, Coach Ian, and the rest of the coaching staff. You got the handshake, you got the nod. They said, congratulations. you're actually officially you're officially licensed by Nightmare Factory, or you have the nod from us to
Hmm.
go and start taking bookings, if not all over the world, at least all over the country. But you got to show them what you got at the student showcase. So what was going through your mind when you had to go up against Dean Alexander, a guy who is no stranger to the student showcase? Were you
Yeah.
nervous, or were you like, something? I'm from one of the best scenes in America, the NorCal wrestling scene, and I had some good training from Cody Rhodes and QT Marshall and Coach Glacier. I got this, or was it a mixture of both?
So I still remember to this day the day we were all getting our matches for this show. It was probably like 2 weeks prior. They stand us all on the line, and they're Coach Luke is rattling off names like you two over here, your agent is so and so. You four are going to be a tag team, going to be a tag team match. Go over there. Your coach is so and so, and he's rattling off names. And then I'm looking around. I'm like, all right, well, everybody's got a match. And then I look at Coach Luke dead in the eye, and he's just like, oh, you got Luke. And I was just like, oh, well, all right then. And I had always jokingly had said to the guys, in our group chats or whatever, or like during class, like, yeah, y'all are just playing for second place at this point. Like, I don't know why you guys are even, wondering who's got the main event. You guys already know it's going to be me. Like, I was jokingly saying that, and little did I know, like, yeah, like it actually ended up happening. Now, when Luke said that, this may sound kind of like pompous, but like I wasn't really nervous at all. I sort of was just like, oh, okay, cool. Because I'm confident in my abilities as a worker, as a wrestler, to deliver against anyone they put me up in there against. So if they had the confidence in me, if they saw something in me that made them go, hey, this guy deserves, to go up against Dean in the main event, then hey, let's throw him in there, and what you saw in there, we made magic. We actually had to put that match together kind of quicker than the rest of everybody else because I think Dean was out of town up until like the last week of camp. So I didn't even get to see him really until the final week of camp. But, he's a professional. I'm a professional. So, it wasn't any skin off our back. We were just like, all right, well, we got a week to, make some magic. Let's just do it. It wasn't any doubts or any fears. We just combined heads, got a little input from some of the coaches. The coaches really just gave us free reign, which I'm really happy about. Like they really were just like, yeah, just go, just do whatever you guys want. I was like, all right, yeah, cool. That's kind of what I like. Yeah, of course we had a little direction sometimes, but for like 95% of the match was just me and Dean coming together. And I give mad props to him, man. He's a professional. He knows how to get himself over. He knows how to get his opponent over. He really knows how to tell a story during the match, and even before the match. He knows that guy knows his stuff, man. And I hats off to him, man. Seriously, it takes two to tango, and I couldn't have did it without him. You're muted. You're muted, by the way. There you go.
Sorry, I do that. That was crazy how y'all had 1 week to make some magic happen, and y'all pulled it off great. I actually enjoyed that match. I was like all into it. The crowd was chanting "Yellow Boots," and then you hit that swanton, and I was like, "Yeah, he pulled it off, man." Sorry, Dean. Maybe next time, but
Yes, sir.
took the W. So I gotta ask you, man. I haven't seen a lot of men rock the yellow boots, man. Like I've seen Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, but that's it. And then
Mm-hmm.
you. So how'd they end up giving you that nickname, Yellow Boots, man? I see you got the shirt and everything with the yellow boots. Whatnot. How'd that happen for you?
So I was at a show, wrestling on a show here over at my old home, East Bay Pro Wrestling. I was going up against one of my other rivals. I love this man. His name is D Rogue. I was wrestling up against D-Rogue one day,
We
and
had
it
him
was,
on our show.
and I think it was our first, or it may have been our first match we've ever wrestled. And D-Rogue is very much someone who wants to give his opponents everything, and that's exactly what he did for me. And we go out in the middle of the ring. I think it's before we even lock up. He's like, who the hell wears yellow boots? Starts laughing, da 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 da, making fun of him, and then next thing you know, everybody's like, yeah, you know what? Hey, he does have yellow boots, and then it's just yellow boots, and then from then on, he created a monster. You know,
Oh,
fr- it's just been that ever since, man. Like you take you run, you take it and you run with it until it don't work no more. And here we are, we're still doing it, man. It works. I don't know what it is about the color of a man's boots, but yeah, something about it, man. It works, man. I don't know.
but
Can't explain it.
first I gotta say, you better hope D Rogue don't come by and be like, hey, you selling merch? I want my money. You gotta cut me a check, a percentage or something, you know. But yeah, you definitely made it work for you. And it's funny because I've been watching wrestling for a long time, and I've heard stories I've seen and heard stories of instances where something came off as a rib or an insult, and then that person flipped it and made it work for them. Like for example, I'm gonna go way back. Kevin Von Erich of the Von Erichs. One of the guys in the back stole his shoes, stole his boots. He couldn't, and he was like, "Okay, well, I guess I'll have to wrestle barefoot in the ring." And then that ended up becoming a trademark of his
Hmm.
wrestling. The one in the family that wrestles barefoot. And then, of course, you probably heard of. I know you heard of this guy, Cheeseburger. The
Yeah.
beloved Burger. He was a security slash ring crew guy. And Charlie Haas was like, kid, what's your name? And he's like, well, I'm not gonna say his real name, his shoot name, but he's like, you know what? Every time I see you, you remind me, you make me want to eat a cheeseburger because he was a skinny guy.
Hmm.
Every time I see you, I feel like eating a cheeseburger, and that name just stuck with him, and he made it work for him.
Yep.
So it's funny. And then of course, there was also John Cena and the Fruity Pebbles thing where Rock made fun of him. He
Yes.
Fruity Pebbles, and from what I heard, well, I think he got an endorsement deal from Fruity Pebbles, and sales went up because John Cena was eating Fruity Pebbles and whatnot. So it's funny how people can take things that are meant to insult them and flip it and make it work for them.
Yeah, it's really just whatever works, man. Whatever sticks. Like they always tell us, in training, whatever the crowd latches onto, just give them more of that. If they latch onto your boots, you do that. If they latch on to your tights, you give them more of that. If they latch onto a catchphrase, you keep doing it until they get bored of it. You always, especially as a baby face, you always want to give the crowd more of what they keep cheering for. And I think the big I guess you could say the crowning achievement of the yellow boots thing is during a promo class. Or yeah, it was during a promo class. We go behind closed doors and we cut promos. I remember one instance, I think it was Baron Black, Coach Luke, and Cody Rhodes. They're all just sitting in a room. I think even Preston Vance were there. They're all just sitting in a room and in a circle, and they're just watching you. And they just you just cut a promo, like a 2-minute promo about whatever topic they give you. And I think my very first one was like an introductory, like, who are you? And I'm like, I cut my promo like I'm Yellow Boots. These boots represent me, they represent the fans, this, that, and the other. And then after the fact, and Cody Rhodes is looking at me. He's like, you could tell, he's like, oh, you thought this out. Like, oh, like, and he's like, yeah, he's just like, you got something there. If you flesh this out a little bit more, you give it a little bit of life. And he's like, yeah, I can see this. I could see this. And then when Cody said that to me, I was like, okay, yeah, this isn't dumb. Because of course, like, yeah, I've thought about it to myself, like, is this just a NorCal thing? Can I really take this? Can I really take this other places? And as I've traveled uh down the coast, and of course down to Georgia and whatnot, like, it was like, wow, this yellow boots thing can actually, it isn't a fluke. This isn't just something that only like would only work in my neck of the woods. I can take this and run with it other places, and people can latch on to it because it is so simple. It's something just so incredibly simple, you know. And something it's got that it factor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it definitely does. But yeah, man, you definitely made it work for you, man. Like you definitely, I could definitely see you, you know, going far with that and whatnot. And like I said, I'm not just saying this. Like the shirt looks really cool. I've seen the shirt, the yellow boot shirt. It looks really cool, man. Like,
Thank you.
And hey, I mean, look at this way. Look, two other famous men used to rock yellow boots, Hulk Hogan and Macho Man. So I mean, hey, come on. You
That's good company.
You're kind of walking in a legend's boots, kind of, in a way. Yeah. So you've done the showcase, you've done the student showcase and everything. What's next for Cliff Hendrix?
Man, what's next for me is just keep grinding, keep building the brand, getting my name out there, traveling, more shows, bookings, fans, traveling, just everything. There's not like one thing I can, hang my hat on. Keep learning, keep training, just everything that I've been doing for the past 5 years, just more of that. The grind don't stop, man. They always say the day you stop learning is the day you fail, because you've always got something to learn. I walk into training with the intent of, all right, what move am I going to learn today, or how am I gonna work on my spots, or what move can I add, what move can I take out, what move can I put here, there. Is there anything I can change about the way I do this, or I do that? There's the wheels always have to be turning in your mind, and that's how you stay consistent. That's how you get better. And I can't stop any of that. The wheels have to keep going until they fall off.
Definitely. So after you graduated from Nightmare Factory, did you stick around to like get to wrestle in Georgia, Florida, any of those eastern states, or did you just head right back west and
No, I got in the car and hopped my ass back to California. I said, screw this. I'm out of here. Like, screw the South. I was like, screw the South. I am back. I'm going back home to California. I miss In and Out. I miss my sunsets. I miss being next to the water. Like, I missed everything about California. Not to say that anything was wrong with Georgia or anything like that, but I was just like, I've done my time here. I've seen this part of the country. I know what it's about. And of course, if I ever want to go back, I've got connections down there. So I've networked enough, and I know some people down there that can help me out if I ever need to, make my way back down there. Which is also another great reason of going to train there. Making connections and making friends. If I ever want to go back, if I need a place to stay, like, or hey, point me into some promotions in the North Carolina area, or the Florida area, the Georgia area, Alabama, Tennessee, so on and so forth. I've got people that can help me out with that. They can also put in a good name for me, so I'm not starting from scratch. So, yeah, sure, I may have bounced out of there as quick as I could, but it's not like it's a closed door. You know what I mean?
I would definitely recommend you to give, and this might sound a bit, biased, but I would definitely recommend you give the Northeast a shot. New York has a great wrestling scene.
Mhm.
Jersey has a couple of places. I definitely recommend you check that out as well. And you're right about the connections, because one of your schoolmates, not classmates, schoolmates, the Diamond Sheik, actually,
Yeah, damn
him and,
sheet.
him and Jameson Ryan started was it
District championship. Yep,
District? Yeah,
yep.
and there's a lot of alumni. I've noticed that there's a lot of alumni from the Nightmare Factory that wrestle there, and it looks like a pretty well put together show. I haven't checked out any of the shows yet. I know they're on YouTube, but I
Hmm.
haven't really watched them. I'm behind on some stuff, but I'll definitely check it out. But it looks very put together. And whenever you go to Georgia, I'm pretty sure, you know, they can always put in a word. They could possibly find a spot for you on that show, and you get to see Yellow Boots on the East Side again, and so on. But I would also recommend New York, man. New York has a lot of great, promotions. New Jersey as well too.
Of
I always,
course.
I always tell people the scene over here is one of the best scenes ever in terms of professional wrestling in, the United States. And I always, it's not a matter of like if there's a wrestling show, but which wrestling show do you want to go to? Do you want to go to the one in Brooklyn? Do you want to go to the one in
Hmm.
the Bronx? And then there's New Jersey, which is not too far. Do you want to go over the Hudson River to New Jersey and see the show over there?
Right.
There's so many options.
Yeah, I've always given some thought to the Northeast, mainly because you guys do have a whole bunch of shows that are in the area, and you guys. The thing I like about the Northeast is that you guys are all sort of like compact, as opposed to being out here out west. If I drive 6 hours south, I'm still in California. I just hit Los Angeles. You know what I mean? I go from San Francisco to LA. That's 6 hours. If I'm in Georgia, I could go 6 hours west and I'm in Memphis. You know what I mean? I cross through Alabama. Or if I go 6 hours east from Atlanta, I'm in North Carolina. So there's a lot more flexibility and a lot of more bookings you can take, within a smaller amount of area, or geographically wise, as opposed to being out here on the west. That is like it's definitely an advantage that I see the South and even like Northeast have over here being out west. Like I definitely do recognize that. And championship or district, yeah, I know they're very young, and I've given some thought to hopping on a plane one of these days and going out there. And I didn't know it was actually run by Dark Sheik. Now that I know that, I might hit him up. He's every time I'd see him in the factory, he'd always give me a nod, give me a little smile and yellow boots. You know what I mean? I like that. That's my guy right there. I love him.
Yeah, I saw that there was a. How I knew is I saw that there was actually a poster. And Diamond Sheik, please don't kill me. I'm just going by what I saw. But I saw that there was a poster of one of the matches, and it said Diamond Sheik and Jameson Ryan, and it said the owners of something about them, about this is a great match between the owners and such and so. I'm like, oh wow, yeah, that's cool. Diamond Sheik's doing his thing, and yeah, we've it's funny. So Diamond Sheik is the reason why we interview a lot of y'all. He's one
Mm-hmm.
of the why his brother appeared on AEW in a Scooby Doo outfit one time, and I was like, that's cool. That guy stands out. I want to talk to that guy. I thought I would have had a problem contacting him too. I thought he would have been like, yeah, no, or we'd have to jump through hoops. But
Right.
he's like, yeah, he was down to be on. Then he told us he had, two other brothers, and then one of them was the Diamond Sheik, and we knew him before he started wrestling, and we had him on our other segment, which is called 15 Minutes of Fandom, where we interview fans. And then he was like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna start wrestling at the Nightmare Factory. I'm like, okay, well, whenever you graduate and debut, just let us know, and we'll have you on the show. As a main guest, as a wrestler. And then, lo and behold, he sends us, a picture of him working out, a video of him working out. Then the next thing he sends us a picture, of him and the class of Camp Two,
Yep.
Camp Two class. And I was like, awesome, congrats. We want to have you on the show now, but you just do us one more favor. We want to talk to the rest of the class. We want to also try to get everybody, on here so they can give their story and whatnot. And since then, every time we see a new camp, we hit them up. Yeah, we want to have you on the show, And then I noticed that he was in Camp Two, and I completely missed Camp One. So I'm like, okay, let's start the Camp One then as well too. Can't leave them out.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been going on, and yeah, y'all do amazing work down there. And I'm not just saying this. Like, I enjoy all those student showcases that y'all have. They're very entertaining, and I always look forward to them. Even though I'm a bit behind a few, but life happens. But I'll definitely catch up. So I just got a few more questions before we shut this down.
That's all good.
Um, your coach, Cody, when he first left WWE, he's back with him now, but when he first left, he actually had a list of wrestlers he wanted to face in the near future. Several other wrestlers started doing the same thing as well, posting their list online.
Yeah.
Who are your top 5 that you want to wrestle in the near future? They can be from anywhere. WBAW Impact. These doesn't matter which indie scene. Who do you want to face in the near future? Or who would you like to face?
Oh boy. Let's see. I'd actually really love to have a match against Jungle Boy. Mostly because him and I have the same trainer. Shout out to Mr. Rick Luxury, Wrestling Personified. That's my one of my trainers here in NorCal. He recently moved, but I know a few years ago, it's like way before I started wrestling, even got into wrestling. I know him and Jungle Boy go way back. Um, I know Rick's trained a bunch of guys that we all see on TV. I won't go into names, but Rick's got a nice little stable going on about him. And Jungle Boy's one of the guys. I actually almost got the opportunity to wrestle him, but then obviously COVID happened. We were supposed to have like a really big show over at East Bay Pro, and he was. I told him, I was like, yeah, I'd really like Jungle Boy, and he's like, yeah, let me see if I can make that happen. And it sounded like it got really close, but COVID happened, and it is what it is at this point. Let's see who else. I'd like to get in there one-on-one finally with my boy, my brother, Big Juicy. I'd really like to get in there because we've like I said, we've had our dust ups in the ring. We've had a couple multi-man matches, tag team matches, but we've never gone in there one-on-one. And I would really, really like to get in there one-on-one because me and Juicy, I know can no screw the size difference. I know me and him can go out there and have an absolute banger. Me and that guy, we've traveled the road a bunch. We've worked together in training a lot. Yeah, like the stuff we can make, I feel like is just gonna be chef's kiss. Who else? Oh man, you said five people.
Hmm.
Five people. Oh, man, I also really want to work Jacob Fatu, another one of my boys.
Ooh,
Yeah, Jake.
looking for punishment.
Yeah, yeah. Jacob's one of my boys, man. Like, I could, man. There was a trip out in Vegas one time. Who, man, what a time that was, boy. Yeah, Vegas or Fatu, man. That's a good dude right there. That's a really good guy. He knows his stuff, man. Former MLW champion. I know the WWE was eyeing him for a little bit. But yeah, Jacob, all around good dude. I know him and I will go out there and we'll have some fun. I would actually really say what you want about him, man. There's a lot of the internet I feel like is seriously misunderstands this dude, but I'd really like to go up against Joey Janella.
Okay.
Joey Janela, if you like actually watch a Joey Janela match, not just like the hokey, corny stuff that the internet would have you believe is like outlaw mud show wrestling, whatever the fuck Cornette says about him. But like if you actually like really watch a Joey Janela match, he's actually really good. Like, and I know that's like super controversial to say. Joey Janela can actually work, unlike a lot of wrestlers. Like, sure, he's not like the most flashy or whatever, and he doesn't need to be because he knows how to work. And I feel like a lot of workers miss that part in their game now is they don't know how to work. They don't know how to work a crowd or work a story. But Joey Janela understands wrestling. I first time I met him was at a GCW show they did in LA a few years ago. It was like outside. They didn't even have like an entrance ramp or like a curtain or anything. It's just people walking over a hill, and that was the entrance. And we were doing ring crew, tearing down ring, and a couple of us gathered around. Joey, and he's like just trying to gaming us up. You know what I mean? Like, and you just listen to him talk, and the dude knows his stuff. Like, he's a world traveler. Why would you not listen to him? Because some internet marks, talk shit about him and call him names and all that stuff, and they just regurgitate what other people say about him. Like George Janella is actually very, very intelligent when it comes to in ring work, and I'd really like to put my skills to the test up against him. And last but not least, I know this is like far, reaching out there. I'm reaching very far for this one. But he's my favorite wrestler right now. I'd really love to go against Kenny Omega.
Ooh, okay.
That's the guy right there. I don't care what anybody says. No one can ever change my mind about Kenny Omega being the best wrestler in the world. Like no one, absolutely no one. Like yeah, he was injured for like a year or whatever, and you could say Danielson or Cody or Roman Reigns or Rollins or whoever, but man, like something about Omega, man, he just captures me. He gets me. I don't know.
You know
He
what
gets
it is about
right in that good spot.
you know what it is about Kenny Omega that makes people want to deny him how good he is because he didn't go to WWE. That's to me that's just what it is. You know, there it seems like people are upset that he chose success outside of WWE and he's doing great and he's content with that.
Hmm.
These are probably the same people that probably did the same thing to Sting. Were like Sting ain't nothing until he goes to WWE.
Right.
Sting proved that he didn't need to go to WWE to make a living as a wrestler. He did it on his own. He went to WCW. He went to Impact, and he made things happen for him. I think that's why people want to deny Kenny Omega. I mean, and granted, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but to me, you shouldn't base somebody's skills off of which company you go to. You should base it off the actual skill.
Hmm.
You know, everybody can't be successful in WWE. Everybody can't be successful in AEW. Some and those companies are not for everybody. You know, I've seen people that were better off in Impact that have been thriving. Some people were better off in WWE. Some people are better off in AEW. I mean,
Yeah, you can find success in all areas of wrestling, not just with the big companies. You can sure getting a contract is nice, but at the same time, if you can find success on the indies, like so many people have with their brand and their merch, it's well, success is success. you know, like we're sitting here talking about Joey Janela, and he doesn't have a contract, at least not anymore. But he's not signed to AEW or WWE. Same with Jacob Fatu. Like you can find success. You can find success all over the wrestling industry, no matter whether you're signed to a company or not. And I wish more people. When I say people, I wish more fans. I wish more fans could see that as opposed to just if you're not signed to AEW or Impact or WWE or New Japan or All Japan or Noah or this, that, or the third, then you're nothing. I wish that mindset would seriously go away. But the age we live in now, like that ain't happening anytime soon.
I think it's gonna change because the landscape of rest. First off, WWE is no longer the only game in town. I mean, there are so many. There's AEW. There's Impact. There was Ring of Honor, but Ring of Honor is now owned by AEW. There's New Japan, there's GCW, there's so many popping up. And there are so many avenues where you can actually go online to watch, a live independent wrestling show.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna change overnight, but I sense there's a bit of change. It's definitely not like the way it was 10 years ago. A
No.
lot has changed. But yeah, yeah, different strokes for different folks. Fatu actually kind of scares me though, because after I remember Jacob, there was a fan, and this is
Oh,
why
you talk about the guy that jumped the rail? Is that the recent clip? Is that what you're talking about?
the one that decided to show Jacob Fatu the middle finger and actually, yeah, he was like outside of the rail, and he shows Jacob Fatu the middle finger, and Jacob Fatu just shut. Like, why would you go to a big guy like that and want to mess like that person must be a stunt double or must be a stunt man or something, man, because
Yeah,
I
I
see Jacob
don't.
too. I'm running the other way. Him and Juicy, and I mean I'm 5'9", 200 and I'm a big guy myself, kind of. Where I'm 5'9", 250 something pounds. I see those two guys like that. I'm walking the other way quickly.
Yeah, I know. There are some men in the wrestling industry you just don't want to mess with, and Jacob Fatu is definitely one of those guys. Like I said, he's my boy and all. Like he has my back and a lot of stuff, but like it's one guy I never want to be on the wrong side of. Most definitely not.
Some fans are, I don't know, man. Just know all of us fans are not the same. We're not the same. There's some of us like myself that go to the shows, know their role, and shut their mouth and stay behind that. So not all of us are the same. So
Right.
just telling you right now. But yeah, so I just got two more questions. Two more questions. My second to last question: when you're getting ready to go to the gym to work out,
Mm-hmm.
or you're training for your next match, or you're getting into that mindset to face your opponent at the next show you're on, what are some songs that you like to listen to that get you into that zone?
Oh man, that's a good one. I don't necessarily have like a workout like playlist. However, uh I'm a huge heavy metal fan. Uh so I tend to frequent bands Metallica, Slipknot, Killswitch Engage. I'll even dabble in some Papa Roach, those are hometown boys from up in Vacaville, Alice in Chains, Trivium, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Ghost, the whole, you know, the whole like heavy metal spectrum and whatnot. As for like certain songs, there are certain songs on my playlist that I'm like, the moment they come on, it's like, yeah, no one's touching this, no one's touching this radio, no one's touching this aux cord. This song's playing. Like I don't care, you get your hands off. One of them would be, and I know this is topical because of Stranger Things, but Master of Puppets.
Okay,
Master Master of Puppets is a freaking banger of a song, and I'm actually really glad that a lot more people have gotten to experience because of Stranger Things. As odd as that is to say, but that's two things I love. Stranger Things and Metallica came together. And who would have thought, right? Let's see. I'm looking at my playlist now. Anything by Gojira. If anyone has never listened to Gojira before, these four motherfuckers from France, absolutely rip. Like I've seen them live a few times, and every single time they fucking kill it, man. Like I don't know what secret juice they got in their water over there in France, but I need some of that because by God, they're magic whenever they're on stage. This band called Avatar, they're from Sweden. Man, they got a song called Hail the Apocalypse. That's a fucking banger, a banger above bangers, man. I swear to God, like I could go on and on, but yeah, anything that's like loud, fast, and heavy, I tend to lean towards Slayer, the band Slayer, even fucking Angel of Death, Raining Blood, fucking Megadeth with Holy Wars or Sweating Bullets, anything like that, man. Like I'm just anything that like loud, fast, and heavy. If I'm being honest with you, like that shit gets my blood going, gets my heart pumping. Shit, it's the third. I'm about to this Thursday and Friday, man. I got a music festival up in Sacramento I'm going to called Aftershock. Seeing a whole bunch of bands for 2 days straight, and then on Saturday I have a show. So it's gonna be the this weekend's gonna be pretty big for me. I got 2 days of a festival, then I got to wrestle on Saturday. So yeah, it's gonna be really fun the next couple of days for me.
awesome. I'm not too versed in heavy metal, but if the song's a banger, like there's this group, you probably heard of them, Seven Dust.
Oh yeah, I know Seven Dust. Yeah. I know them
They have
very
a
well.
song, they have a song called "Broken Down."
Yes.
Every, I always have to have that song on my playlist. LeJean Witherspoon, the lead singer, great guy, great voice.
Yes.
That song is just like if I were ever a wrestler, and that would definitely be one song I'd want to come out to. That song, "Broken Down." It's very it just gets me in the zone to do some cardio or knock out some reps and so on. So yeah. Um, Other than that, I mean, I don't know. My playlist is like pretty much like Like people would get pissed off at me at the gym if I was in charge of the ox because one, you got some heavy metal, then you got some hip hop, you know, and then you might have some, pop music, and then you might have like a video game theme song on it, and then you might hear some wrestlers, theme song. And if they don't know about wrestling, they'll be like, "What kind of music is this?" You know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember one time I was working out, and the guys in the gym were like, "Who's in charge of the ox?" And granted, I had my music playing on the aux, but I had my headphones in. So I just kept I was on the stationary bike, and I just kept pedaling like I didn't know what was going on. And I was just, just just minding my own business. But yeah, that was definitely fun times. So my last question, um, if somebody came up to you and said they want to become a pro wrestler and they want to go to the Nightmare Factory, money's not an issue for them.
Hmm.
They're willing to travel. That's not an issue for them. They just want to know what to expect and how to get through those intense 3 months. What bit of advice would you give that person, that man or woman?
I would say the very first thing is show up every day. You want to show up every single day. You want to show up to the in ring, and you want to show up to the strength and conditioning. Especially if you want to get better in this industry, you need to be in the gym. You absolutely have to. You cannot get by in this industry without being in the gym at least 3 or 4 days a week. I was at strength and conditioning every single day for 3 months, 4 days a week for 12 weeks. Never missed a day. And the results speak for themselves. Like I felt myself getting stronger and faster as time went on. It's hard. It's really hard work. Like those workouts are not easy. Even guys that were in that class that already pretty well versed around the gym were struggling on some days, man, throwing up and sweating their ass off, downing gallons of water. By the end of those workouts, we would all go lay on that turf because we had an hour break, and we'd all be laying there like, oh, this fucking sucks. You know what I mean? But by the end of it, man, like we all came out on the other side. It's one of those things you work out as a group. That's another thing that brings you together, not just learning stuff in the ring, but working out together. That stuff can really test your mettle as an athlete, man. That shit, it's hard. It's hard work, but at the end of it, you're gonna be better off that you went all those days to strength and conditioning. And same with the in-ring. You never want to miss a day of in-ring practice because playing catch up is never fun. And also be coachable. That's one of the things they talk about is be coachable. Don't talk back. Have your ears open all the time. Take every bit of advice in. Write stuff down. Bring it. We all have notebooks. Write stuff down. Write what you did that day. Write what you learned. Write what you would like to learn. Keep a log of everything you did that day, whether it's your workout or your in ring. Keep all that information written down because Lord knows you're gonna forget it at some point. You really are. You can't retain everything because there are some days they teach you a whole lot, and it can kind of be it can kind of be a lot some days. And especially if you don't pick up on something, you can always, hey coach, I'd like to work on this because I'm not, I feel like I didn't really grasp this concept of a headlock or a clothesline or whatever the course may be for that day that you weren't really feeling. But yeah, just show up and be coachable, man. But most of all, above all else, is just have fun. Because if you're not having fun, then you're not going to enjoy your time, and it's going to be a waste of money. Because by the end of it, everybody there, most people there would have been having their first match, their first wrestling match. And the camp is really designed to take people who have little to zero prior wrestling experience and turn them into athletes and wrestlers who can work at least, a basic structure of like a 5 to 10 minute match. And that's really what the camp is designed for. And I feel like it does that very well. And I couldn't have picked a better group of guys and girls to, have a camp with, Kevin, Kev Dog, JR, Frankie, KJ, Tanner, like Katie, Giselle, Kayla. I could go on and on. Like Gabe, Dylan. Like, oh, I love everyone in my camp, man. Like we all really, by the end of it, man, we were all like really, we all really bonded pretty strong together. And that experience, nothing can take away from. No one can take that experience from us, and that's when you have fun with it all. Get to know your classmates, and you'll realize by the end of it, you're like, damn, we all really just did. We all did something special, and that shared experience can really. That's what's really gonna knock it out of the park for you at the end of those 12 weeks. That shared experience with your classmates, the bonds that you all shared, and the experiences. That's what's gonna really hit it home for you, and then that's what's gonna really drive you to keep going with wrestling.
That's awesome. So for those of y'all listening and watching, y'all just got advice from a Nightmare Factory alumni. So anything else, any other advice, you probably got to hit them some cash on the Cash App, hit up that PayPal, but you got a little something, something, to start.
Yeah, you got some free advice from the main event, man.
Yeah, and he was in the main event too. But I gotta say, Hendrix, you also got the last name of one of the greatest rock stars ever, Hendrix.
Yes,
And I
sir.
always say, I tend to play armchair booker from time to time. I tend to play armchair gimmick guy from time to time. And I said, one thing I would like to do, and this was before the New Day, when if you were black, you had to be a hip hopper or a gangster. I said, one thing I like to, I like to have a black rockers gimmick. And I put one guy Hendrix and one guy who has the last name of one of my other favorite rockers, Kravitz. You got Hendrix, Kravitz, and they have this black rock gimmick, and they're just different.
Mm-hmm.
If I find another guy named Kravitz in that ring, I'm definitely gonna hit you up like, hey, Cliff. I know you guys think with Surza, but I'm just saying, if things don't work out, I got a tag team partner right here. Y'all, make some happen and get some money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Thank you. The name is definitely not. I don't take the name for granted either. It's very much a part of my lifestyle. Also, like I said, I'm very much a rock guy. Like Hendrix, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. But Cliff is the original bassist for my favorite band, Metallica. So
Okay.
I put two and two together, and it's like Cliff Hendrix. I love rock, I love metal, and I want my name. I want my name and my music to personify, to really hit home who I am as a person, not just in the ring, but outside the ring as well, because that's what's going to really resonate with me. And that's what's going to resonate with the fans at the end of the day.
Awesome. Well, I gotta say, Cliff, thank you very much, for taking time out of your busy schedule to be on our show. Congratulations. I know it's been months now, but congratulations on, graduating the Nightmare Factory. And I
Thank
hope to
you.
see the CW show real soon. And I hope you get to travel all over the country, if not all over the world, you know, and see different scenes and how fans are different in each area and so on. I really hope you get that chance and get to wrestle all those people that you mentioned that you want to wrestle as well too. And if anybody hasn't told you yet, or if they've already told you, I guess you're gonna hear it for the thousandth time. Thank you for all the matches and memories you've been giving us. Keep up the great work. I love the whole yellow boots thing you got going on. You definitely flipped it and making it work for you. I'm gonna have to try to get me one of them shirts real soon. And speaking of which, before we shut this down, where can fans find you on social media when they want to find out when your next appearances, when they want to purchase Cliff Hendrix merchandise, and where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
Yes, so you can follow me on Instagram at yellow_boots1. That's the number one. Yellow_boots1. That's my Instagram. DMs are always wide open. Same with my Twitter. Twitter is the number one, yellow boots, the one yellow boots. And I recently started streaming on Twitch. So you can find me on twitch.tv/FoollyWolf, FOOLYWOLF. That's twitch.tv/FoollyWolf. We got big things happening out here in NorCal. We just recently started a promotion called Oasis Pro. So be on the lookout on my socials for some promotion coming up for that show. I'll be on that doing some big things with my tag partner Surza. We got big things cooking up out here in the Bay Area, man. Like I said, new promotion starting up. Come check us out, man. We're gonna be doing big things around the Bay Area, man. It's gonna be hot. She's gonna be hot. We're about to bring the hyphy back to the Bay Area, if you know what I'm saying, man. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try to hit up NorCal and check out the promotions there because y'all are doing phenomenal work. And I'm actually curious about how the fan reactions are over there. And so I've seen it SoCal, but not NorCal. So I'll definitely, whenever I'm in NorCal, try my best to check out a show as well. And yeah, best of luck to you and Sirs as well. Hope y'all win some championship gold and whatnot. And then I'll be like, yo, we just had them guys on the show. We had Sursa last year. We had Cliff. We had Cliff on this year. Another tag team champs. That's awesome. Um, but yeah, man, definitely wish you all the best and whatnot. And with that
Thank
being
you.
said, it's about time for us to shut the show down. My eyelids are getting heavy. That means it's time for a nap. Maybe not right now, but before we go, if y'all want to follow me on social media, you could find me on Twitter at the Remy Blue. You can also find me on Instagram at the Remy Blue as well, and also on Facebook under the alias Remy Blue. You can also find our podcast on social media as well. We're on Twitch at Ringside Society 2019, Instagram and Twitter at Ringside Society. We're on Spotify. We're on Facebook as a Facebook group. Just type in Ringside Society. You'll definitely find us. And we're also on Teespring, where we sell official Ringside Society merchandise. And last but not least, we're also on YouTube, where we have a lot of cool interviews like this one, like the one we had with Katie Hebner, the dudes in kimonos, and you know, Paul Espinal, who's a referee over there in the Nightmare Factory as well, and many other great men and women that are in the wrestling industry. All you gotta do on YouTube is type in Ringside Society, and once you see that sweet dark blue and light blue yin yang sound, the blue flames around it, that's when you know it's us. So make sure y'all subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to see all our videos when they pop up because we got a lot of cool stuff coming up. You don't want to miss a thing like Aerosmith in 1998. But with that being said, we just want to thank everybody tuning in tonight live. We really truly appreciate it. To those y'all that are going to listen later on when you get a chance, thank you very much in advance. And those y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we'd go away. Well, like myself at the Golden Corral, we're not going anywhere for a while. But with that being said, we just want to let y'all know that we actually strive to be one of the best wrestling podcasts a wrestling fan should listen to. We do this all for y'all, not for us, not for any clout. It's just for our love of the game and whatnot. And we also just want to let y'all know that we here at Ringside Society, we're very well aware that everybody and their grandparents and their parents have a podcast. But we're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. And we're not just any podcast. So with that being said, I'm going to say it one time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, one time for the Nightmare Factory Camp 4, throwing it up there like we Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen, and one time for Cliff Hendrix, aka Yellow Boots. Make sure you hit this man up for your Yellow Boots merchandise. It looks good on you. We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. And with that being said, we'll be back next week. As a matter of fact, this Friday, actually, to be more specific, with another impressive episode, with another impressive guest. But until then, we just want y'all to do 4 favors for us. Man, I've been throwing this up all night. Stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We out. Peace.